Welcome to the Mike and JD Show YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. I want you to do me a big favor before you check out this clip. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to throw in a comment and make sure you're a subscriber to this channel. And then I want you to share this video with your friends. Help us defeat the algorithm. And then if you like this content and you appreciate this content, please head over to patreon.com/the Mike and JD Show and support the show. That is how we actually get funded to be able to do this. So we thank you very much for being here. And now enjoy the clip.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you work your A game. A made no rains on the track when we unite and spit. This isn't A game, better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you work your A game. A made no rains on the track when we...
I went kind of viral this week. I had a tweet that had like something like 20,000 likes.
Yeah.
Doing what we normally do, making fun of stupid people, and it kind of caught a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll actually I got a couple tweets queued up for later in the show, but I would like to pull that one up. That was a good tweet. It was about the smoke field arena bullshit that people like to say, and then of course JD never misses an opportunity to clap back on an asshole who is clearly lying or is just misinformed fed pill bullshit.
I don't like the fed pill. I don't like the fed pillars. They make me mad.
You know what? And there for a time, like I wouldn't get mad at them because I'm like, they just don't know any better, right? But now I'm like, you know what? It's so easy to get information out there, and you don't have to be stupid. You at this point, you're just choosing to be stupid, and that's the thing that gets me is like. Some people have believed a version of history created by Vince McMahon. They believed it their whole life. And instead of actually looking at what really happened in the world of wrestling, that wrestling did exist pre-1984, WWF didn't acknowledge the existence of wrestling in their own territory, in their own company prior to 1984. Lanza was talking about it a couple weeks ago about Killer Khan. When Killer Khan returned to the WWF in 1987, they acted like that was the first time he'd ever been there, despite the fact that he had one of the more legendary feuds of his career 6 years prior to that with Andre the Giant. So they just totally did not want to acknowledge that any other company existed pre-1984. They created everything. It was all them. They got no help from anybody. But here's the tweet in question that JD went a little viral on. It said, without Vince, wrestling would be what it was before him, a minor entertainment for Saturday morning. And then here's JD. Don't be as dumb as this guy. Dallas, Texas, May 1984, 32,000 in attendance. And there are probably hundreds of examples to refute that bullshit nonsense that guy was spewing right there.
I just picked one. Like someone's like, what about oh god, it's late, so I'm forgetting the name. The from the 40s. Why can't
Jim Londos? Jim Londos.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm firing on like two cylinders. Like he had 100. The rumor has it 100,000 people in Greece to watch matches, and I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it's certainly not smoke-filled arenas and that bullshit. No. Like I just hate that. And Triple H's last was, well, it's something they did in like bars. It's like, shut the fuck up. I hate him with such a tremendous passion because he does know better. But idiots fall for his shit and they just lap it up. Ooh, Triple H said this. And they lap it up. I hate tribalistic wrestling fans. Like you give WWE credit when they're good at something, right?
Yeah.
Give AEW credit when they're good at something. Give TNA credit when they're good at something. Give New Japan credit when they're good at something. But these WWE fans can't. They just can't do it. Like it violates everything they know to just say, you know what, this was fine. Like the wrestling boom didn't even start with Hulk Hogan. It pretty much started with the fucking Von Erichs, which is why I chose that one.
Yeah. And Hulk Hogan, well, he definitely was a big part of creating like this huge mega machine. Clearly, right? No argument there, but like he was huge in AWA before he got to the WWF in 1984, right? And so he got fired from the WWF for trying to go film Rocky III. And then of course, once Vince took over from his dad, the first thing he did was bring him over. And it wasn't like if Vince was this, and look, and I'm not this guy that doesn't think that Vince isn't smart and that Vince doesn't make great business. Of course he did. He built that empire. He had a lot of help, right? he didn't just create it from nothing. Like his dad had the biggest territory in the territory system, right? They had as far as the biggest cities and where they ran and all that, and the revenue that was the biggest, and he got it basically handed to him. Like he did pay a fee, but like a small nominal fee, way less than what it was ever going to be worth. But he had the foresight to bring over Hulk Hogan, but he did that, and he didn't create Hulkamania. He bought Hulkamania from Vern Gagne, who wasn't willing to pay for it, right? Like that's what it was.
No, 100%. My favorite is, Vince created Hulkamania. Vince let Hogan be a star. Hulk Hogan was a star because of Rocky 3. Sylvester Stallone made Hulk Hogan a star. Let's be realistic. Vern took advantage of it and then never really pulled the trigger all the way. Right? I was thinking about this because I had so many responses to that tweet. I mean, like I didn't mute it because I'm like, I was annoyed every time I opened up Twitter. I've been annoyed a lot lately, quite frankly, going through some stuff. So I mean, like I went on there and I saw this and I'm like, these way these people just worship at the altar. Like someone said wrestling would have died out if Vince never picked up. And I'm like, why would you think, What? Why would you think that? It's like, well, the territories went out of business. I'm like, yeah, because one guy was putting them out of business.
I'm still on my camera.
Okay.
I think it's my stupid camo camera, so I'm just gonna switch over.
Go ahead, fix that. I'll continue.
Okay,
I'll keep.
No, you keep going. I can hear you. My camera just quit.
Like it just this idea that here's what helped Vince is that Vince was the right age at the right time. Right? Vince had the forethought to remake things. And so did Ole Anderson, but he was like kind of set in his ways a little bit. All the other territory promoters just wouldn't walk away. Like, here's a real question, Mike. If Vince Sr. doesn't get cancer, what happens?
Eventually people were already trying to do what Vince Jr. ended up ultimately doing, right? Mm-hmm. Like Ole had moved up into the the Detroit territory. He was up into Columbus, Ohio. World Class.
Crockett was in Toronto.
Yeah, Crockett. Yeah, and that became. And Dave did a good job explaining that situation, I think, on Monday's Wrestling Observer Radio. So if you want more details on that, he explains it way better than I could. But World Class was going everywhere already too, right? They had taken over most of Texas. With exception of Houston. They were in Israel. They were all throughout the Middle East, and then they had their television show was all over the country on syndication and on certain cable stations and stuff like that. Like they were huge at the time too. And then of course, the folks that were on TBS as well, like they were all over the country. Eventually, cable was going to start to get into more homes, and these bigger cities are going to want what wrestling that was on TBS. They're going to want them to come to their city, right? Like this all was going to happen regardless. But nobody was the dog that Vince was, right? Nobody was the shrewd businessman that he was. He would fucking cut your throat, right? A lot of them would too, but he had just bigger balls than a lot of the rest of them, to be honest with you. And he had just he would
base.
Go ahead.
Look, sorry. No, it's like he also had a base to work off of. Like he had the New York television, he had Washington D.C. television. That's a major market. So he controlled the top two of the top four major markets in the country immediately.
New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Like he had like major markets. Yeah,
their slice of the pie to start with, which is why guys wanted to go work for Vince Sr. Like because the wrestling matches don't have to be any good. Like the fans like personality shit. And then you just go out there and work, and it's easy and make a shit ton of money. Like again, it was so, and he was shrewd. You cannot take away how shrewd he was, right? The only one that could have challenged him was Crockett, and Crockett was not winning, but Crockett was super successful until he just wasn't checking the books, and they were spending too much. He couldn't curb his spending, and that's what the train's coming through.
Train's back. It's not that crazy. You can keep talking.
I mean, like Crockett just couldn't control his spending, and then Dusty was out there having him fly in Lear jets and shit until they realized there was no money left. Right? Yeah. It just the idea that wrestling would have gone away is so stupid. Like again, I hate the term "fed pilled," but I've come to accept that's the only phrase for these people, and I can't stand willful stupidity. Can't stand it.
I like the phrase "fed pilled," and I absolutely like calling them the Fed because when you do, people get so mad.
That's true.
It's like, it's like, oh, it's almost becoming like they see it as like a derogatory term, and we just call them the Fed because they were the World Wrestling Federation when we were kids, right? And so people refer to them as the Fed or New York or Stamford because of where their home base was at the time. Now they probably do more work in Orlando than anything at this point.
That's true.
But because they feel like that's a derogatory term, I am going to keep using it until it's cancelable, and I don't think it's going to be cancelable anytime soon.
Nah, you can stop them with canceling over that for us. It's kind of funny, actually.
Well, it's pretty funny, but you know how it is. Like words like that we used normally 20 years ago, you can't use anymore. So
that's true.
Fed and Fed pilled. I'm just going to keep using it until I'm not allowed. But I wanted to play this really quick so we can get it off of here before. So I sent this to you. Now, unfortunately, I do apologize to the guy that made it. He put it on Instagram. I don't have an Instagram, and for whatever reason, it's not showing me who made it. So I'm not one of those guys like that likes to post a video of like super creative and be like, okay, who made this? When clearly the person posting that said it knows exactly who made it. It was the person you stole it from. But in this case, it was sent to me on Instagram from my buddy Lewis Carlin. I then forwarded it or sent to me in Facebook Messenger by Lewis Carlin. I don't have Instagram, so I click it. It plays in the Messenger thing, but I can't see who made it. So anyway, this is take a listen to Triple H selling Cody Rhodes on main eventing WrestleMania.
Headline WrestleMania.
Yep, versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, he's had the belt for so long, it'll be an honor to take it off of him.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Wait, I'm gonna lose?
But due to shenanigans, it's what I like to call long-term booking.
Okay, so I'll fight Roman at the next pay-per-view.
No, you're gonna fight Brock.
For a belt?
For pride.
Oh.
And he's gonna beat the tar out of you all summer.
Okay.
And in the end, you'll get a fluky win and he'll put you over with a handshake.
And then I'll get the title?
Yes.
Well, consider me honored to have this great...
The tag titles.
What?
For a week.
A week?
Yeah, then you'll give him back. Remember, long-term booking.
Oh, so then I'll pick up with
Shinsuke.
But he's a mid-carder.
Not anymore.
Well, this doesn't make any sense. I left AEW to win, to headline, to be a top draw. There's 2 nights of WrestleMania. Who are you going to have main event?
CM Punk and The Rock.
What the fuck?
Oh, that was crazy. Long-term booking. Remember, kids.
I love that so much. Like that guy just summed up. I love the corny ass Davey and Goliath lip motion. Like the cartoon's too cheap to actually do like frames per minute, so they just put a guy talking over the cartoon. Yeah, hilarious. That was I watched it. You sent it to me when I was at school, I think, and I was trying not to get in trouble watching that thing. It's hilarious.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna say poor Cody because he's living pretty good. Like, there's no poor Cody over here. He might not be getting booked the way he exactly wanted to, but he's still top of the cards everywhere. He just might not be top WrestleMania.
He doesn't get to be the champ. I think that might be Cody's lot in all this. Is maybe he just doesn't get to be the champion.
Maybe that was like his whole thing in AEW where he was never champion, right? And like you're the dumb that, that put that stipulation out there. Now you got to follow through with it.
And now it's just become a thing. I think Hunter's like, I thought you didn't want the title.
Yeah. So why would I give you the belt if you clearly didn't want the title?
Maybe the finish of the story is you just keep losing.
Yeah. God, it's so funny.